an exploration of the divine feminine. In Soul Art 2.0, in the deep dive into the laws of the universe, we explored the principle of gender, and we talked about the notion that a balance is needed between masculine and feminine energies. The divine feminine or sacred feminine is a concept grounded in spirituality, an energy that has been with us since the beginning of time, representing the connection to the part of your consciousness, the aspect of the self responsible for nurture, intuition, empathy, creation, community, sensuality, and collaboration, regardless of gender. The concept that the divine is feminine or that there is a feminine aspect of the divine is not novel. It transcends religions, and we see that representation in all wisdom traditions. For example, in Hinduism, she is Shakti. In Egypt, she is known as Isis. To the early Gnostics, she was Sophia. Some believe that the feminine deities and goddesses that embody the energy and the principle of the Divine Mother are not mythological. Rather, they believe they are ascended masters or cosmic beings who focus the God consciousness on a specific ray. Some believe that in the age of Aquarius, we are destined to gain awareness of God as Mother, just as we came to know God as Father during the Piscean age. We understand the divine energy of Mother as our teacher, our guru, our healer. She is caring, nurturing. She is harmonious. Mother is intuitive and creative. It is Mother that teaches us greater ways of doing and being. She is complex with many dimensions. She brings harmony. She brings order. She is the comforter. She is the fearless warrior, the defender of her children. She can bring destruction as easily as healing. There is a widely held belief among spiritual teachers that more feminine qualities are sorely needed in the world. As I went on my vision quest, I continued to stumble over little revelations that stunned me. One such revelation was that there were some lost gospels that never made it into any Bible that I had ever seen or heard of. One of these was a lost Gospel of Mary Magdalene, which was discovered in Cairo in 1896. And in 1917, another fragment of the Gospel of Mary was found in Egypt. And then in 1945, in a village called Nag Hammadi in Egypt, a large amount of early Christian scripture was found, including the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Philip, a text called the Sophia of Jesus Christ, and a mind-blowing poetic piece of scripture called the Thunder, Perfect Mind. These texts discovered at Nag Hammadi were collectively referred to as the Gnostic Gospels because the focus on gnosis, which is a Greek term meaning self-knowledge, or more specifically, the knowledge that comes from direct experience. Deepak wrote a great article in January 2020 saying that masculine behavior has run its course as the model for power. He said the arms race, world wars, civil conflicts, and an insane buildup of atomic bombs symbolize masculine aggression reaching an apex that is a dead end. The urge to turn everyone into winners and losers won't save a planet that needs emergency medicine. He said we find ourselves in a drastic state of imbalance because one half of the human psyche, the feminine, has been suppressed, violated, or ignored. He talked about Carl Jung's feminine archetypes, themes that permeate civilization back to its roots, and mentioned how humanity seems to no longer value mythology that brought us the Greek goddesses, Aphrodite, Hera, Athena, Demeter, and more. Each symbolizes a divine feminine energy that must be included in a complete human being, regardless of gender. Many spiritual teachers are proclaiming that it's time to call these feminine qualities that have been sorely missing into being, in ourselves and in the world at large. These energies are called different names, but there are 20 or 30 traits that are commonly mentioned. mothering, tenderness, nurturing, compassion, forgiveness, understanding, empathy, love and affection, non-judgmental acceptance, abundance, including the freely given gifts of food and water supplied by the earth, beauty, transmutation, wisdom-keeping and divine awakening, inspiration, including intuition, insight, and the muses that inspire art and music and creativity, peace and harmony, sensual enjoyment, including primal awareness, health, healing, and wholeness, medicine woman qualities, integration, guardianship, ferocity, protecting, including warrior energy and destruction when necessary, high priestess mystery qualities, vulnerability, humility, patience, collaboration, inclusiveness, enhancing others' self-worth, sharing, being one with nature and protecting the planet, birthing or bringing things to life, including the cosmic womb where we birth aspects of ourselves that have remained hidden. A goddess movement has been vital for several decades on the fringes. Its most basic aim is to give a woman a sense of self-esteem and worth in her own right, not as an adjunct to a man. In Deepak's article, he goes on to say that this movement has seeped with aching slowness into the world. He calls for a movement toward wholeness for everyone, where we allow those suppressed feminine qualities to emerge. He said in the article, "You are the agent of peace, nurturing, abundance, beauty, and inspiration. When enough people make the conscious decision to express these values, the world will change. The future of humanity depends on meeting the challenge as consciously and as soon as possible." So we each have the divine feminine within us. We are all children of the Great Mother. We can all awaken and access and call into being our goddess within, heal ourselves and make ourselves whole. The traits we listed before are revered in different wisdom traditions, divine mother figures, archetypes, mythological deities and goddesses, including Mother Mary, Sophia, Kuan Yin, Mary Magdalene, Tara, Brigid, Shakti, Aditi, Saraswati, Lakshmi, Kali, Durga, Hathor, Sothis, Isis, and many, many others. We will talk about some of these divine mother figures, and you will identify one or more for continued study and greater personal connection. As I went deeper on my vision quest, I took a fairly deep dive into Egyptian mythology during my shamanic apprenticeship. So I tend to think of these goddess archetypes in terms of the Egyptian Neteru I came to love. I feel a very deep and personal connection to several of these, and so, for example, the way I see the goddess who represents healing and being a medicine woman and magic is as Hathor. Someone else might feel that same energy, and the representation that resonates with them might be as the Celtic goddess Brigid or the Greek goddess Panacea. If you already feel a strong connection to one or more divine feminine or divine mother or goddess figures, great. You can decide how you want to celebrate her or them in your art journal. Some believe all feminine goddess archetypes link to the same energy. You could think of it as the same vibration of source energy or soul, just as the same masculine god archetypes in all creation myths are the same soul. It is a human reaction to want to have a name and an image and a story for this energy, and there's nothing wrong with that. It helps us call these energies into being. It's fun and it's enlightening to think about these energies, and we know that when we give intention and attention to something, it grows in our lives. If you have a mother or goddess figure in mind already, you may want to learn even more and explore some potential connections. If you don't yet feel the call of someone specific, my recommendation as you begin to find your goddess resonance is to focus on the traits that most strongly appeal to you and go from there. For example, if the trait compassion feels like one you want to develop a stronger connection with, you can Google Goddess of Compassion, and you can likely find several possibilities, including Kuan Yin and Tara, and see which one feels like the strongest pull or something that really calls to you. As I describe these divine feminine figures, notice when one or more particularly calls to you. If you don't have a figure that resonates, as you did with your superhero, you can establish your own made up of the traits and attributes that call to you. Now, let's explore some divine mother and goddess figures together.